Hello. Today we will learn about additional inputs and outputs for large projects. The appropriate organizational structure needed to implement and support large projects is defined in the consultation with the Chief Product Owner, Chief Scrum Master, Senior Management, Scrum Guidance Body, and other relevant experts. Organizations planning to use Scrum for large projects should fully embrace the Scrum framework. The organization should be able to support the effort by committing the required resources. If the organization cannot commit the required resources, plans must be made to procure necessary resources such as people, tools, and workspace. It is imperative that an organization planning to use Scrum be prepared to drastically change its work culture and habits in order to truly realize the benefits of using Scrum. In a Scrum environment where large projects are being developed, there will be numerous Scrum teams competing for resources. Thus, it is important to manage the organizational resources in an optimal way to achieve the overall project objectives. The large project Scrum organization should consider the components that will be developed, the skills, costs, and other resources required to develop them, the Scrum team's current velocities, or estimated or assumed velocities, to provide a high-level estimate for the project's duration, the communication requirements, and other interfaces that the Scrum teams need to maintain. The next input is Product Owner's Collaboration Plan. The Chief Product Owner works with the key product owners to create the Product Owner's Collaboration Plan. The Product Owner's Collaboration Plan should define specifically how the product owners should collaborate with the Chief Product Owner. Minimally, this plan should define how many Scrum teams a product owner can be assigned to based on factors such as experience, time, and domain knowledge, how the work of gathering requirements from the business stakeholders will be allocated among the product owners, how the prioritized product backlog will be updated with new requirements or changes in requirements, and how the product owners will collaborate with multiple Scrum teams. It should be noted that each Scrum team will collaborate with only one product owner. However, a single product owner can collaborate with more than one Scrum team if required. Scrum Master's Collaboration Plan is the third input to discuss. The Chief Scrum Master works with key Scrum Masters, the Scrum Guidance Body, and, at times, some already identified members of Scrum teams to create the Scrum Master's Collaboration Plan. The Scrum Master's Collaboration Plan defines how the numerous Scrum teams will collaborate with each other to provide the highest value in the shortest possible time. A large project will generally have multiple Scrum Masters assigned, each facilitating and ensuring a productive work environment for their respective Scrum team. It is possible that one Scrum Master may be facilitating more than one Scrum team at the same time. Scrum Masters need to collaborate with other Scrum Masters, as well as the Chief Scrum Master, Chief Product Owner, and the product owners to develop the list of components and resources needed in common for all teams throughout the project. They also help provide inputs for the creation of the Release Readiness Plan. The plan should include information on specialized domains assigned to qualified teams, how the teams will support prioritized product backlog refining, and estimation, i.e., deciding which of the team members will participate in the refining sessions and high-level estimation exercises, and how the teams will organize the Scrum of Scrums meetings. It may also be necessary to use a Scrum project tool to facilitate the use of Scrum on large projects. The Scrum Master's Collaboration Plan may also include information on how each Scrum team will be coached. For example, it may include information on whether there will be a separate coach in addition to their Scrum Master, whether there will be a Scrum Master at each location in the case of distributed teams, how the teams collaborate with the co-located Scrum Masters, and with Scrum Masters who are not co-located, and so on. Although Scrum teams working on a large project need to interact with each other when creating the prioritized product backlog, product owners can ensure that user stories with a lot of dependencies are grouped together and owned by a single product owner, so that the deliverables will be worked on by only one or few Scrum teams. This minimizes the dependencies of tasks between different Scrum teams. The more effectively each Scrum team can work efficiently to create its deliverables. The next input is shared resources. Shared resources can include people, environments, and equipment that are needed by some or all of the Scrum teams working on the project. In a large project, the shared resources may be limited and may be needed by multiple Scrum teams at the same time. In this context, the Chief Product Owner, the Chief Scrum Master, other product owners and other Scrum Masters need to agree on a method for how shared resources will be allocated. An example of a method for allocating shared resources could be to ensure that resources are assigned first to those teams working on the most important or highest value features. When competing requests have similar priorities, the Chief Product Owner should decide the allocation of resources based on the current business requirements, priorities, and other defined criteria. Team specialization is the next input to discuss. There are 3 considerations of team specialization that should be considered when applying Scrum to large projects. The first dimension is the need for accomplishing a set of specific tasks. For example, one specialized team might be an integration team that has expert knowledge of continuous integration. This knowledge could be especially important when conducting a release readiness sprint, if there is a need for specific tasks to be performed prior to a release. The second dimension is the need for special skills of individual team members. Theoretically, all Scrum team members are generalists and specialists in that they have general knowledge of various fields and are experts in at least one. However, this might not be the case in a large project. Members of the team may need to possess very specific skills, such as a special domain knowledge like security, which may not be available across all the teams working on the large project for which the skill is needed. In this case, it would be extremely costly to train everyone in all the required specialized domains. Experts with specialized skills and knowledge can be assigned to the Scrum project and used as needed in different teams. However, at times it may be necessary to hire experts from external sources when they are needed, keeping in mind that adding a new team member will impact team velocity. The third dimension for acquiring experts is due to any limitations in team flexibility. Typically, on a Scrum project, each team will have one or more domains in which they have significant expertise, a few domains they can work on with some input and training, and other domains in which they do not have the skills or experience. During sprint planning, for every team, there will be a subset of user stories that are logically assigned to the team based on their expertise. Some that they can work on, and some that they may not be able to work on because they don't have the knowledge or skills. In this case, experts may need to be acquired when there is not enough flexibility in the skills of team members. Limited access to resources with specialized skills on a large Scrum project results in some level of risk to the project. Some top priority user stories may not be able to be completed in a single sprint. Teams may need to work on some lower priority user stories while waiting for the availability of team members with specialized skills. Next is environment and environment schedule. The required development environments may not always be available throughout the duration of a large project. For example, a crane needed for a construction activity or a specialized testing environment may only be available on specific days. Once all the required environments are identified, an environment schedule is created and used for the coordination of sprint activities in the update sprint backlog process. The environment schedule is a calendar detailing how the Scrum teams will access and share any specific environments. The schedule allocates days and time periods for when each team can use each environment. Release readiness plan is the last topic to discuss. The Chief Product Owner works with other product owners to create the Release Readiness Plan. The Release Readiness Plan details the steps to be taken by relevant Scrum teams and any other individuals to confirm that the minimum requirements for release have been met and the product or product increment is ready for release. The business decisions with their associated business justifications for performing release readiness tasks are also described in the Release Readiness Plan. Because every sprint creates a potentially shippable product or other deliverable in a typically small Scrum project, a release can occur after any sprint when it makes business sense to do so. However, in a large project, there may be certain activities related to release preparedness that should be performed for some sprints in the project. For example, a project team may need to run a full set of expensive and time-consuming performance tests or conduct a special set of end-to-end integration tests just prior to a release. These activities are considered outside the defined done criteria for regular sprints, and, in such cases, a separate release readiness sprint will be necessary to complete the tasks needed to prepare for a release. That's all for this module. Thank you for learning with us!